the Next Issue podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Batman Off-World #1. This is a new book from DC Comics, written by Jason Aaron, with pencils by Doug Mahnke, inks by Jaime Mendoza, colors by David Baron, letters by Troy Peteri. In this issue, superstar writer Jason Aaron teams up with blockbuster artist Doug Mahnke for the fight of the Dark Knight's life. A routine night in Gotham for a young Batman proves to be anything but routine when the crime fighter is confronted with a sort of foe he's never faced before. One from beyond the stars. A universe of possible alien threats leads Batman to make a daring decision to venture alone into the far reaches of the cosmos for the first time, where the Dark Knight will face the fight of his life. This is such a cool concept because I think there's a few things that always throw Batman off balance, right? First is like stuff like magic. He doesn't fully understand nor believe in magic. And then also aliens. Anytime he has to deal with aliens on his own, that definitely goes outside of the scope of what sometimes at least a younger Batman would feel maybe comfortable with. So having both Jason Aaron, who's a fantastic writer, he loves writing these big epic tales, and also Doug Mahnke, who not only is a fantastic artist, but he also has a really cool eye for design. Like whenever he has to design creatures, I think that's where he truly shines. Like he really has a just his style is so fitting of like weird creature design. If you haven't read Swamp Thing Green Hell with by Jeff Lemire and Doug Mahnke, go check that out because there's some really gnarly creatures in there. So I was very excited when I saw this. I went into this not knowing anything about the premise other than the title, but the title really throws you in there, like, right? So let's take a look at some of the preview art real quick. And as you can see here, we are going all out when it comes to leaning into this otherworldly aesthetic. We actually don't have some of the pages that we are shown are not the opening pages of the book, but they really explore this world. But Jason Aaron does some really cool stuff where you set up a mystery of like it's almost as if these aliens know there's an invader on their ship, but they cannot locate what's going on. So I think it's really cool premise. Of course, Batman is very adaptable, but he has his own limitations as human. And as you can see here, just look at these gnarly designs of these aliens, like all the fangs with the weird eyes. And, you know, when you go out there and do something like this, you're setting yourself up to follow characters like this all throughout the book. You know, we meet some of the other, like the Captain Sin, looks to be who we're going to be dealing with the most, just based on the way he's presented here. But once you make those stylistic choices, you got to follow through with those throughout the whole series. So Doug Mahnke really has set up a cool world, a very cool aesthetic. I think Mendoza's inks are really fitting. They don't feel too heavy. They just feel very like they're heavy where they need to be in those dark areas. And then also Baron's colors, a really interesting color palette, very otherworldly for sure. So yeah, this was a really interesting title. I quite enjoyed the first issue. I'm gonna definitely read next month to see is this better for me to read month to month, or is this something I want to check out maybe closer as a collection. But just the way that Jason Aaron really captures the voice of this young Batman, who definitely has a lot of training that he still needs to do. There's some really cool stuff as far as Batman trying to adapt to this space adventure. So hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Batman Superman World's Finest #21. This is a new book from DC Comics. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora, who are currently my favorite tag team in comics. Tamara Von Villen and colors, letters by Steve Wands. We continue the Kingdom Come story, where Mark Waid has now revisited the world of Kingdom Come, this time with artist Dan Mora. So in this issue, Mark Waid continues his return to the world of Kingdom Come. Superman and Batman, having followed Boy Thunder to Kingdom Come, find themselves and the world that is on a path to an apocalyptic future. Can the world's finest team prevent the transformation of Boy Thunder into the villainous Magog, or is his fate sealed? So, I think the premise of this book is really interesting because obviously, if you have read Kingdom Come, you know that David, I believe is his name, like who we've been following, who is Boy Thunder, who we have been hinted at, becomes Magog, which is a really cool retcon. Um, like, you know, is Mark Waid trying to change his own story? Like, is he trying to create maybe a different world? Is he trying to create a different set of events from Kingdom Come? Or is this a story about no matter what Batman and Superman do, this is all destined to happen anyways, and maybe it's already happened, right? So very interesting stuff. I love all the little callbacks to the story, to the Kingdom Come. But if you have never read Kingdom Come, you're still getting a really cool story as long as you've been following up at least the World's Finest series, right? I think David has shown up in a previous arc and now he's in this arc. So I like that Mark Waid is kind of introduced this character to kind of work all this stuff in. And there were hints at his future in the previous arc, so I'm glad we are revisiting that. As always, Dan Mora is a fantastic artist. Let's put up some preview pages here. I just love the way he displays fights with Tamara Van Villen's colors, of course. Just everything looks so dynamic. Everything looks very stylized, very cool. And I just love the small and subtle details that separate how we look at this Clark who is older, this Batman who is older in the Kingdom Come universe, from the younger versions that we are following in the World's Finest book, because World's Finest book takes place earlier in the career of both of these heroes, right? So very cool. Of course, we get to see them go at it. We get to see Superman versus Superman, Batman versus Batman, everything that you would want to see. But all that is still kind of wrapped up in this mystery of like, can Boy Thunder be saved? Can he be stopped from becoming Magog? Also, what do the Batman and Superman of this world think who David is? Like, who do they think he is? And is this going to lead inevitably to the story that we all know already? Very interesting stuff. This is one of my favorite titles that I just want to read as soon as it comes out. So very lucky to get a chance to look at some of these early on so I can talk to them about it with you guys. So, hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Superman number 8. The Chain Saga continues, but let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Joshua Williamson with art by multiple artists, Gleb Melnikov, Norm Bradman, David Baldion, and Jamal Campbell, with colors by Alejandro Sanchez, Jamal Campbell coloring his own stuff, letters by Dave Sharp, and a beautiful, beautiful cover by Jamal Campbell. There will be some other variant covers that you can see at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But yes, this is part 3 of the Chain Saga. In this issue, the Man of Steel versus Chained. Powerless, Superman versus the Chain concludes. One of the biggest battles Metropolis has ever witnessed comes down to Superman doing the unthinkable and sacrificing his powers to stop the Chain. How does this impact Lex Luthor's plan? Or is Lex too busy dealing with the shocking return of his mother in Superman 850? There's a lot happening here, which is why they have multiple artists. I think each of the artists is kind of following up on a little bit of a story. In the opening pages of this issue, you do find out the backstory of the Chain, and not only that, it also illuminates on a different character. I won't go too much into the details, but it gives you a little bit more of information about a character that I really like. That's also part of the series, or at least part of the Super family. I'll say that much. Really fun fights, really cool stuff. I love the dynamic of Lex and Superman having to work together, and then also Superman having to do the unthinkable. That you may not even, yeah, I think you'll be surprised when you get to that part. So let's take a look at some of the preview art. Now, I don't know exactly which artist is doing which part. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar enough with them to be able to tell them apart. And overall, I think all the styles in the book, although they are very different, they have some similarities in the way that they kind of feel on the page, on the type of pace that the story's telling. I think that's just having a very good cohesive script. So kudos to the team with, especially Joshua Williamson preparing the script, and then the all the creators being able to bring that to life. But here we can see a young Carl, or a young Sammy, sorry, uh, as he we find out about his powers. We find out what the chain is. We find out what he can do, and we find out also that he has been approached by Dr. Farm and Mr. Graff, right, who have been kind of recruiting enemies of Superman. I really like the way his hair is kind of disheveled, and his beard, and this, just having him wear this giant chain around. Of course, we get to see a little bit of the super fam, a little bit of super heroics, and then finally Lex comes back into the picture after all the events of the previous issues. So this one is definitely full of adventures, full of answers, but even then, just full of really cool stuff that I think overall I'm really enjoying this series. This has been one of the Superman runs that I just really like, going from week to week and not waiting for the arcs to be done. So I think Joshua Williamson has uh, that capacity to just keep you hooked, to make sure that you really want to stay on top of the books and make sure that books like this are at the top of your pile every time they come out. So hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Nightwing 108. This is a new book from DC Comics, written by, let's take a look at the creative team here actually. Written by Tom Taylor, with art by Stephen Byrne, Adrian and Lucas on colors, Wes Abbott on letters. And we continue to follow a not shirtless per se, but very swashbuckly open shirt, uh, Dick Grayson, as he goes on his pirate adventures. In this issue, Dick encounters an old flame. Is she a friend or a foe? Amid Nightwing's investigation of the mystery behind the secret society called the Hold and their connection to the origin of Bloodhaven, Dick runs into his old flame, Bea Bennett. Bea, Bay, maybe, back to confront Nightwing for some closure, or is she somehow related to the secret of the pirate society? Uh, that feels like a old premise. I think we're kind of moved past that point, but we are definitely still following this mystery of the Hold. Nightwing is now part of this crew for the moment because they're trying to find out, first of all, who is the person in the ship that is has betrayed the captain, and also what are the secrets of this secret society. So I'm really enjoying this. This is going to be a 4-part story that's going to lead us into the next DC crossover event. So I think it's just a fun, really pirate swashbuckling adventure where you kind of get to see Nightwing be the closest to a pirate that we will ever have him. So really cool stuff, very cool concept. I just love that they really leaned into, and you'll see it in the art preview, this aesthetic of Nightwing just having his chest exposed like some kind of romance cover guy or something. Really cool stuff. So yeah, speaking of that, let's talk about the art. And like I said, it just fits the story so well. The tone, whether we have to show a fight, whether we have to follow along with some mysterious panels. Like I love this 4 panel series of this guy infiltrating the captain's quarters and then being set up by Nightwing to be revealed as a traitor. And always Dick, always smiling, which I really love. I love how full of fun and adventure he is. I also love these type of panels where they kind of show you a sequence of a chase, kind of all throughout. Almost feels like a little bit of a maze that you have to complete, from the back of a cereal box or something like that. I love that aesthetic. Yeah, and it really makes me giggle every time I see Nightwing, and he just has his shirt open all the time. So really fun stuff. This is kind of a hoot of a story. Like you don't even need to have been reading the previous stuff with the Nightwing series. There's a lot of stuff that also kind of they grabbed from the time when he was going by Rick, which is something that I haven't read. So yeah, it's just real, just Nightwing fun adventures here of him being a pirate. But things definitely escalate in this issue. We are getting close to the finale. We also have the conclusion of the backup story as well, which really shows Nightwing hanging out with different members of the Bat Family, and I really just love that slice of life type of feel. Michael Conrad really did a fun job with that, along with the team. So hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. This is a new book from DC Comics, written by Brian Buccellato, with art by Christian Deuce, colors by Luis Guerrero, and letters by Jimmy Betancourt. In this issue, the legendary Monsterverse has been unleashed on the DC universe, and the cities are threatened across the globe. From Metropolis to Gotham, the city of Themyscira, the Justice League scrambles to protect the citizens from these raging titans. What role has the Legion of Doom played in all this monster madness, and how will the tide change in the battle if a hero falls? Uh, Listen, I could give you a lot of reasons why you want to pick up this issue. And this is a beautifully put together comic book, but I gotta be honest, you get to see Superman punch the shit out of Godzilla in this issue, and that's like, I don't know what else you want me to tell you about this issue. Like, Godzilla gets punched in the face by Superman. I don't know, like that, if that's not a selling point for you, I don't know what to tell you. But back to the story. Yeah, we definitely continue the story, and things are moving very fast, right? We not only get to see Godzilla, we get to see other Titans all over the place, and the Justice League kind of has to split up. Brian Buccellato, I think he's doing a really good job at managing a large cast of characters, including the Titans, because he has to make sure that, what's the Justice League doing, how will they split up, what's the Legion of Doom up to, like what are the Titans up to, like which Titans to pick. I wonder. I do wonder how they picked each of the Titans that are seen on the book. I won't go too much into details. I don't want to spoil anything. But of course, we've seen Godzilla at the end of the first issue. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just very excited. This feels like a really cool time to be a fan of Godzilla. With this book, we have the Monarch show on Apple. We have the -1 movie coming out at the beginning of December. So like, oof, fans of the kaiju's and Titans, and whatever you end up calling them, like, you are in for a treat this next few weeks. So let's take a look at some of the preview art. I think the art team I just love this portrayal of Godzilla. And I left this panel alone because there's the next one as we see it here, as Godzilla's kind of rearing up to maybe fire off a little blast. And Superman, of course, he's trying to reason with Godzilla, right? I think that's his approach. Superman rarely punches first or shoots first, whatever. But I mean, come on, look at that. And then Godzilla counterattacks, and then like this page just kind of like sold me on the rest of the series. Like, I just want to see more of this stuff. I want to see how the Justice League reacts to this. I really like that, Superman gets thrown into this building. He's always aware that he doesn't want to hurt people. He doesn't want to hurt innocent bystanders. So he checks on that. Apparently, the Justice League has insurance to cover for events like this. They make a joke about all that stuff. So even throughout all this action, this book is still pretty funny. Like, especially coming from the Flash. Of course, he's the one to be cracking wise, and then just really cool shot of the rest of the heroes coming out. And like I said, you get to see multiple cities being attacked. So you're in for a treat with this issue. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying the series. But like I mentioned, if you are not in for a comic book where Godzilla gets punched by Superman, I don't know how else to tell you to go read this. So hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Wonder Woman #3. This is a new book from DC Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Tom King with art by Daniel St. Pierre. Tommy Moret on colors, letters by Clayton Cowles. We also have a backup story by Tom King and Belen Ortega. Belen is one of my favorite artists currently, but I don't have any preview art for that. In that backup story, we do have the debut of Wonder Woman's daughter, Trinity. So that's really cool. So make sure to read that backup story because it's not only very cool, it's also adorable. We have in this issue the last of lies. True power is revealed as the Sovereign continues his campaign against Wonder Woman. Could one unsuspecting soldier be the key to defeating our hero? Find out as Diana uses her own lasso in search of the truth about the Amazon massacre, plus the return of Trinity. Wonder Woman's daughter makes her backup story debut in the first of many awe-inspiring adventures from the future. I will give a content warning for this issue. I don't know if DC will have. I didn't see anything on there, but I do want to have put out a content warning for suicide. So be forewarned that those topics are part of this issue. And I won't go too much into that because I don't want to spoil anything, but I also want to make sure that if you're reading this or if you want to read this, that's not something that catches you off guard. So that being said, man, this story continues to heat up. There, Tom King has been using or is using this narrative power where we're looking at a few different things and we are looking at a few of the pieces come together, or we're getting more pieces of the puzzle so we can see a bit of a larger picture, right? We have the Sovereign who is manipulating all these things that are happening. In the meanwhile, we have Wonder Woman who keeps looking for the truth about who is this Amazon and why is this Axe group so vehemently like following her to try to capture her. Like, what's going on? Like, why? What is the mystery? So like, why are they so aggressively pursuing this Amazon? Obviously, there was a massacre, and they want to make sure that doesn't happen again. But I feel like they went very extreme with this. So, of course, let's take a look at some of the preview art. Saint Pierre and Thomas Moret, like they are a fantastic team. I just love all the detail. Like, if you look at the buildings, you can see the reflection of the buildings in front of. Like, there's just an incredible level of detail as you like. And I'm noticing this stuff like upon my reread. I read this twice because I really enjoy this issue. Um, and yeah, just I really love the pacing that Tom King and then these panels kind of portray. I love that we do see how Wonder Woman is perceived in this world by different people. Like this security guard, first of all, kind of ignoring her, and then as soon as he finds out it's her, he's like, "Holy shit!" Right? Like the look in his face is amazing. Wonder Woman is built like a brick house in this book. Like she looks massive, and I love it. I just love how strong and just dominant her performance has been over the past 3 issues. She definitely is taking no shit from anyone. Uh, on the other side, this Sovereign dude, man, he is the worst. So yeah, I just love it. He speaks in I guess the royal like third person or whatever. He refers to himself as we and us, which is kind of cool. Um, it lets you know, like it puts you in the mindset of that character. So, and of course, like I said, we get some revelations about the origins of Trinity. We get the Trinity backup story as well. Yeah, really cool stuff overall. We also get to see the lasso of lies used. I think for the first time, really, the first time we really see it in action, which is very interesting. So pretty cool stuff. Definitely a collector's issue because DC is even doing a design variant for this one. So this is kind of a key issue that you want to add to your collection. So really cool variants, of course, towards the back of the issue as well. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. If you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Make sure to share, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.